Welcome to Sit Down Sunday with Stacey J, where we chat about what we want to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Write a comment to let me know you've been here.
Hi, I'm Stacey J, and this is my studio, and I'd like to say welcome to Sit Down Sunday with Stacey J. I thought I haven't done this for a while, and I would pull finger out and sit down with you and have a chat. What made me really want to do this today was talking to one of my subscribers this morning. We're having a chat over texting, and she said a comment on one of my last posts about how many style arc patterns she had, and knew I had a lot as well. We'll talk about style arc. And this morning I actually went through and listed all my purchases I had from style arc and wanted to make sure I had popped them onto my little filey thing that I have online. So I sent the list to her, and she tops me by 20, which I'm happy to say. And then I realized I actually had more. So not saying that I've topped her at all by any means. I thought I had 30. I've got about 34, 35 style arcs. So if she's topping me by 20, yeah, she can take that little crown and she can wear it. However, in saying that, I did make a style arc today. I made the Kingsley bias cut cami, and there are a lot more I think I need to make. It was a one-stage course this year. I was doing a monthly make with anyone who suggested a pattern out there, and all of them were style arcs. So style arc is a well-loved brand, especially in this house, even though people say that the instructions are a bit, I was about to say a Māori word then, are a bit naff, but they are so helpful and come forward if there is an issue. And always there's usually a little, those little screeny things that you take a photo and you can go and get their link, and it shows them a sew along for it. So anyway, talking today, I want to talk about, I'm going to start with a dreaded puhu subject called menopause. Now, menopause is something that it should be embraced, because if you have reached menopause, it means that you are alive, which is good. The only way as a female, you don't reach menopause is by not being here anymore. So embrace it, and then just notice all the nasty. That's the good thing about it. That's the only good thing about it, is that you're alive and it's happening. Everything else is not so good. Can't say I know what these hot flushes are about. I would really like to know. As it is, my room is warm and my feet are cold. So I haven't got them. So sorry if you do. But what I want to say about it is it brings a lot of things to a change in your body, whether it's muscle breakdown, body shape changing. Notice how I very politely said that. I can say it because I know it, but it does bring that body shaping. And what we've got to do when we do the change is also learn about what your health needs and all those sorts of things. For sure, this is not a medical talk. It is to embrace what the changes are and to work with those changes when they come in. I'm just going to move you kind of closer. You want to be close to me. Yeah. The little wobbly thing there. You want to embrace the changes that it is bringing. So whether it is making you a little bit rounder in places that you weren't so round in before, whether it's giving you a bigger bust, you never had the bigger bust before, all these changes. I mean, the alternate is bad. So let's go and embrace these particular changes for the now. I mean, we can sit here and say, okay, well, I put on 20 kilos. I'm going to lose that 20 kilos. And you don't sew until you do. Let me say, I wouldn't be sewing. Okay, so I'm embracing what I have. Not happy. I'm finding out medically, sorting myself out, all the background, internal that. But externally, I still need to not be naked. Okay, and a need to not be naked is to embrace what my age has now brought upon myself. So I was talking to, and it was Jackie I was talking to. I was talking to Jackie this morning, and she was saying that she's started to like clothes that are more fitted, more tailored. And that's good. That's a good thing. Because I think the more layers you put on yourself is the more layers you look like you've put on yourself. And I'm talking cloth now. So if you go out and you start layering on layer upon layer upon layer, Sarah Lee ad, if you start doing that, then whatever you've got underneath that is going to look bigger. So you put an ironing board down and you are draping cloth over it, the ironing board's going to get bigger. It's going to look bigger. So I'm also believe that the more fitted the garment, the more fitted you look. I've got a little blue cardi, and I was wearing it a little whiles back, and somebody said, I really like that on you because it shows your form more, which meant it didn't look flopsy on me, and it didn't hang off me, and it didn't make me look bigger than I was. I mean, obviously not, because it was lighter on me, not obscene, don't get me wrong, I hope. No, not obscene, but yeah, it did that. And that's what I think we've got to look at, and we've got to evolve our own mind. Now, I have had clients come in here that are well into their 35s-ness, and they were going to a 21st, and she had this ruched dress. She was petitish, so short and little, and she wanted her dress cut somewhat just below the crotch. And I sort of said, she said, I'm going to a 21st, I've got to keep up with these 21-year-olds. I said, have you had children? She goes, oh yeah. She said, I have. And I said, okay, because she had. And I said, and when was the last time you were 21? And she goes, oh, I'm 35. And I said, okay, so you're not 21 anymore. She said, no. And I said, so you've been in a relationship, you've got a child, a daughter, you've evolved out of this youthful 21-ness into this beautiful 35-ness. Why don't you understand, or why don't you not understand? I don't think I said that. But whatever it was, I made her not cut her dress off. Her partner did text me and thank me, but because he didn't want it shorter either. And it just looked elegant on her, because as we age, we need to eleganteness with it. Yeah, just age elegantly. I think I know what I'm trying to say. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah. But that's what I think. And I think Jackie was right, because I do like fitted or more structured items on me. Don't get me wrong, I do like a flopsy and floaty dress and things like that. But the more, well, you saw me in my style arc NA dress that has been binned, right? Or hasn't, it's gone to mum. I would have definitely taken the buttons off, but I gave it to mum. But that wasn't me. It wasn't my shape. It didn't emphasize my good points, the girls, and my not so good points. It didn't shape it down like my short waist, So yeah, take a look at what you're wearing and know that we're allowed to age, and we are allowed to age and have changes, because that's what was made of our bodies. And I think here, don't just put something baggy on because you think it's going to hide things. If anything, it doesn't. It emphasizes things. But of course, you've got to have your casuals. You're like, I like a lot of people like the casual gears to get home, take your bra off, free willies and all that sort of stuff. Well, you know, not willies, but yeah. And I don't. I take my brassiere off when I'm hopping into bed and not a minute before, because I personally have fed 3 babies and I don't have small girls, and there has been I've been running, I've got muscle loss or stretched from doing things like that. So I wear a bra because I want myself to feel good when I look in the mirror. And I think that's what it comes down to. You've got to look in the mirror and you've got to be happy. And you've got to say, this is me now. And I will be the best version of this me now. Have I rambled enough about that? Well, anyway, so I was talking to Jackie about that today, and we were talking about some patterns that we have to make. And yeah, so it was quite a nice little fun chat. Sorry, I'm just hydrating. I've lost Mr. Christopher today. He has gone to help his daughter move in. He said, if I go early, then I'll be finished early. I said, yeah, I'll see you about 5 o'clock. He said, no, I'll be finished way before then. It is 3:55, and at 3 o'clock he was doing one more trip into the city from Upper Hutt, which means packing up the truck, driving into the city, unloading their goods, driving back. He's just sent me a voice message, which I am not going to listen to because I'm talking to you guys. Far more important, far more fun. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about our brains evolving with our bodies as we evolve. I'm not saying let loose and don't worry about your health. Your health is important, but also so's your mindset. And if you sit there and go, well, I'm not going to make anything because I want to lose weight first, you won't be sewing. You know, I mean, and I'm taking this from personal experience. I bought jeans because I didn't want to be going through the process of making them because my body had changed. So it's still changed, and I haven't made my pants yet. I got something in my Make 9s. Pair of Elwood jeans from Style Arc. But, you know, I haven't made it. Why haven't I made it? Because I have high hopes that I'm going to shimmy my body into, you know. It's only a number. Take your body down, and with this evolution of our bodies, that doesn't sound good. With this evolution of our bodies, we're going to be different. Our bodies are going to be attuned to a pattern different. When they do the patterns and they make the patterns start at a certain size and they go north and south of that. Okay, so not necessarily does a pattern at size 10 equate to what a body actually is shaped like at a size 20. So you look at me as a size 20 and I have a big bust. That is the protrusion of my 20. Okay, so that's where my 20 in my bust, in my top half, becomes a 20 because of my bust. But if I lost weight or pre-menopause, I was smaller than that, and it might have been my back that was bigger. So if I was going to do an alteration for a pair of pants, and I got my sway back that I have to take out of and my flat butt I have to deal with, then with the mum tum, I'm not symmetrically all the way around. So half of me isn't half of my whole distance is. So taking just from the back or adding just to the back. So I take a sway back. I have a sway back. So if I want to take out of my back and then it's too tight in the front, I don't put back in the back. My back's still the same. I have to add to the front. So it's like a full bust adjustment. I don't have boobs in my back, so it's not symmetrically all the way around. My back is smaller than my front. So I have to add the coverage to the front, not to the back. Does that make sense? That's where I want to go with the evolution of it. We change. So although our bodies are the same types, our little pockets of specialness move. I think motorbikes are going down the back road. So that's where I'm looking at it. We were talking about a pattern, and Jackie was making a pattern, and she'd found that although she did things she knew about, she discovered something else. I said, well, don't put it back there, put it where you need it. So it's like, flat bottom, mum tum. So I have to add to the front, subtract the baggie from the back. Nothing in the back, all in the front. Should I carry out the front, don't I? I'm a front load. Okay. Right, so that's just what I want to talk about, is find out where things have moved to and move that alteration to that area. No pattern straight up is going to be cut and fit anybody. It'll be very rare to find, if I cut a pattern out for somebody, and I've had a lot of clients that I can just roll on and say, yep, they are a standard size 12. Yep, they are a standard size 16. Yep, they are a standard size 20. They're not, because even though the pattern graded from the size 10 down to a 0 and up to a whatever, they're just grading everything. So it's just going like that, right? But maybe we go like that. So that's that yakety yak. So I hope that was a little bit of, it's not you, it's them. It's not you, it's the pattern. And I've talked about the pattern before. Here's my little hydrational vessel. So the other thing I want to talk about while I'm here is I went to the fair with my mum. Now, although it was a little bit wet rain, like when we went up one side and then we came back the other side. This is in our main street in Upper Hutt, and the wind factor on the face, so cold. It was like ice. But I did buy a couple of things. I bought a hat for me. It was an Australian Jillaroo hat, really, to be honest. It's made out of kangaroo skin, and it is so soft. My dad wore them all the time whenever I used to go over there and I didn't have a hat. I'd always grab one of his hats and put on my head. He's been wearing them in Australia for a many a year. Unfortunately for a lot of us, we might have hit the sunblock a little bit too late in life. So I will be going to the races. Joshua's got 5 races, car racing, not horse racing, 5 races on, 2 this year and 3 next year. This is what the season is. And I will be going up there. Now, I should have bought Mr. Christopher one of the hats, but I did not. Plus, he's got a buff head. I know I would have needed his head under to know what size. As it was, I was a large, and I'm actually a 57 hat. That's what all my military hats were. Yeah. So, yes. So, I bought one of those. I bought something else. Can't think of what it is. And I also bought, I did not buy it, sorry, Mum. I saw this was like the first stand we walked past, and it's like a little 3D printed, this goes around the back way, don't know why, but anyway, a little 3D printed flamingo, and I have him sitting. I found out that he can sit like that. I was carrying him. We went all the way back and we got him, and Mum bought him for me. And I was carrying him like that. And I was going to go like that. I said, so I ended up stuffing him into my, I bought alcohol. That's right. And I put him inside my little hat to keep him precious. And he sits just beside my sewing machine like that, like he's thinking. And this is so cute. There's quite a few flamingo things there, but that's a good girl. I wore my new brooch. I did. And a few people said, oh, I love your brooch. Thank you very much. A friend gave it to me. And, yep. Excuse me, lost my vitamin C tablets. Right, okay, so what else did I want to talk to you? I want to talk to you about wool. Not much to do with wool, but more what it does for me. It's one of those things that I like to touch and like to gather, you know. I don't knit as fast as some, and I've learnt to crochet, and I've learnt to crochet since my dad has passed away. He, when I was an army cadet, many years ago, when I was at school, I went out shooting the 22, and I spent the afternoon shooting the 22, and then I came home very depressed that I had not hit the target whatsoever. I mean, oh my gosh, and all I wanted to do was join the military, so you could imagine I won't be good for nothing, right? And I come home, showed Dad, and Dad said, "You tell them you're left-handed." And I said, "No, what's that got to do with anything?" He goes, "Everything." He said, "Okay, next, you're shooting next week too, eh?" I said, "Yep," because he used to come pick me up. I said, "Yep." And he goes, "Okay, so next week I want you to tell them that you are left-handed." So the next week I came back and I had slaughtered this target. I'm left-handed. Did you know? Yeah, no, I'm left-handed. I'm actually, I can use both hands for a lot of things, but yeah, so anyway, I knit things. I'm knitting this jumper. I actually saw the wool. I see the wool, and then and then I start, and then I stop. So this is a nice pink. I like, you know, I'm doing pink quite well. That's the wool. It's a big ball. What am I knitting? No idea. Now I just put on what I think the back would be, and I just go for it, and it ends up, I'm going to drop my little flamingo, and it ends up being horribly wrong, and I'll be known to sit there and just unpick stuff. I had hurt my back this one time, and I was making this vest. That sounds really horrible, but it's like slopsy vest, and I said to Mum, "No, don't like it." She goes, "What?" I said, "Don't like it." Start pulling it. And she goes, "What?" I said, She goes, "But all this work." I said, "No, it's too big. Don't like it. Don't like it." So, yeah. So I don't know. I've already unpicked this once. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I think there's 108 stitches on here, which probably ain't big enough for me. I mean, I could give the wool to Mum, but I can't see me getting, mind you, she doesn't really do pink, so if I give the wool to her, she might knit me something. So, yes, there you go. So, I'm knitting that. What is it? Don't know. I do have this, and I'll show you this. This hasn't been touched for almost 2 years. There's a bit of a reason why it hasn't been touched for almost 2 years. When I first took my father to hospital in August, I had some hand sewing to do. And I can handle that because hand sewing is, I can still sew and hand sew, and that's fine. That's fine. And then as the months went by, the longer he stayed in hospital. Short story that. I found make sure I get the right one. It's this one, this jacket. Okay, that jacket, I want to make that. Now it's going to page, we're from page, I know that goes to page 10, 5. Now we had a hiccup at one stage, page 10. And there, right? And I have a pattern. But what happened was I made this beanie because I have the best beanie recipe in the world, right? So I made this beanie and I said, "I love this fabric, Mum. I love this wool." I said, "I want to make a cardi." So we went to where I got the wool from. And here is the sleeves. Okay, so these are sleeves. and got a little round, what are they called? Oh, there's the sleeves. I've made the back. Don't know where the back is, but I have made the back. So we were knitting in hospital, and I was knitting this, and I just love it. So that's the pattern. Okay, and this is the wool. I got this from Lincraft. It's just the colours are just tremendous, and I just haven't picked it up again. So now I seem to have lost the back. Now we didn't make the front. You know how you go the back, front, right? We didn't make the front because we got a bit confused. When I say we, I mean me, Mum, and Queenie from Hamilton, because when it says right front, no, it's anyway where it says it, there's a pocket that's meant to be part of it. Now Mum sort of knew how the pockets went because it's a vintage pattern, but do you think at the time that she could think of that? So that's not why I've stopped it, but that's sitting there, and I will pick it up again. I'll get there, and I will get there. And I got a little booklet. I got a little booklet here with my little thingos. See? I have no idea where I'm up to. Luckily, Mum taught me how to do the sleeves together, because sleeves together means you make them the same size, which is really good. So what was in here? Okay, so the other thing I've decided now, because I stopped knitting that when Dad passed, I picked up a crochet hook. I don't know what made me go on to look at crocheting. Something did, but for love nor money could I crochet. I just could not get it. Just could not get it. I'm YouTubing it up the wahoo, and I just could not get it. And then he spoke to me and he said, dude, you're left-handed. And I flipped it around and I crocheted. So I am trying to make this. I only started it last winter. Trying to make it, not last winter, like just this last 6 months, no, last year. This cardie. It's a free pattern. Okay, by Hobbii. And it's doing little shapes like that. It's making that all up. So I have, let me show you. Wait there, don't go anywhere. I've actually slightly pulled it apart. Accidental. And this is right there, like that, under the arm. So that seam sits as your shoulder seam. Goes all the way down there. And then what we'll do is you add to the bottom. Oh, I'm undoing this as I speak. I've got to just pull that up. The best thing about crocheting is you can take the hook off it and you just pick up the little loopy thing. It's like so cool. Unlike knitting, when it falls off, you are stuffed. It just freaks me out. But anyway, I have actually handed it to Queenie or Mum before to fix it. It's off. And they flipped it around the right way. I wouldn't know if I'm back to front or front to back with knitting. I've been knitting since we lived in Papakura, so 8. I think I made my first thing. I never sewed it up. Mum did. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, funny. So that's the sleeve, and that goes to the front. And I'll tilt you down a little bit to the front like that. I think the sleeve's definitely long enough. And yeah, those are the colours. And this is the other side. I'm going to pull it again, aren't I, and undo half my things. Okay, it does start to get really big and boring. So that's the other side. So that goes that way. So I just got to make sure it matches that half. Well, a friend of mine, she made one. And yeah. And it was the same one I was making at the same time. But she crochets like a demon. Like, she was sitting there and her mum was in hospital and we were in doing something. And I saw her waiting and I went there and she's just talking to me, crocheting a pattern. Not just crocheting little squarey things and doing the 3 knotty things, whatever they're called. But yeah, she's sitting there making something amazing. So the first thing I did make, oh, this is still attached to little bits of this, was I started with a granny square, because that's what they're called. No, I think they're called a granny square. This is still attached to the grey. And I just went around and around and around and around. Oh, that's not attached to the grey. Yes, it is. I don't know. I did do grey. But yeah, that. What am I going to do with that? No idea. No idea. No idea. Maybe it was Queenie that got me into it. I did. Queenie sent me this. I think because I told her I loved it. And this is a great big blanket. And she did this beautiful, like, edging around it. Don't know. But that's, I could imagine this as a dress back in the 70s. So that is my crocheting. That's how demon I am with them. So the crochet of the colours of the cardi I'm making, I just went and got like 2 or 3 balls or 2 balls of each. So I got, and they're all earthy colours. That's a beautiful colour. I don't even think that's part of this range. Oh, beige, yellow, grey, black. They're all DK double knits. Chocolate brown. And not as beige. Oh no, they're the same colour. So that's a bag I made to store the ones I'm currently not crocheting into the pattern. Right, so that's just a little zip up bag I made. What does it say on it? This is crochet. Embroidered it on with my machine. So that's that. Let me zip that up. I'm not going to zip it up too much. And this is the little bag I have that comes around with me that I stick my work in. And the wool I'm using at the time. And my little, I got these little crochet hooks. I got millions of them now. I went hunting the second-hand shop for crochet hooks. Do you think I could find any? Nuh-uh. Okay, so there, this here. Oh, stop dropping it, Stacey. This here. I've got to keep this one aside because... Hang on. So that screws out. Put that on there. And your next one screws in. And you go on to the next size you want. They're all sizes are printed on them. I bought that from the Fibre Festival couple of years back, obviously a couple of years back because I've been crocheting for a couple of years now. So could you imagine just your brain being spoken to and saying, you're left-handed, turn it around? It just fell into place. I mean, I could do it. I was struggling doing it right-handed, but I could do it. It just fell into place. It was amazing. So that's what I'm up to with my knitting. Oh, then the other week we went out somewhere, Mr. Christopher and I don't know why he lets me do this because Mum doesn't. I came across some red and green, and Queenie makes beanies for the, now this is my beanie recipe. I don't even know where I got it from. Free knitting patterns, Lion Brand Zaps, beginner's beanie. And it's done on straight needles. not rounded needles, because I didn't even know how to do those at the time. So easy. And Queenie started making them for up at the cancer ward for when they lose their hair. And she also makes beanies. One of the radio stations she listens to calls out and asks for things for the young children that are in need, and she makes beanies for them too. So I do actually have a beanie upstairs made of green and orange. I don't know if any kid wants to wear it, but I don't know what I think I'm doing here, but I started something else because I saw the wool and I got like 10 balls of them. It's Christopher's fault. He just doesn't know the rules yet. He doesn't know the rules that he shouldn't let me buy wool. I used to have a big bag of wool. Mum used to have a big bag of wool. We gave them to Chris's mum because she actually is a fanatical knitter. But yeah, so that's my little jaunt for the day. My little chat about our ever-changing bodies as a woman and how we should just overcome it and live for the moment, because we have to, because as fast as it comes on us, we can't get it off us. It's we're in a holding pattern of sewing, and you don't want to be in a holding pattern of sewing. You know, I am just packing up. Well, there's another one of my beanies I made. It's another one of my beanies I made. Well, that's a double beanie. I should walk with this one. That one's thicker. Got a little roll up there so it can be rolled. I make the pom-poms at Queenie's because I sent her a pom-pom maker. I don't have one. Dad liked my beanies, and I made him one, and then he lost it. Then I lost the recipe on how to make it. And then I found the recipe and I made him another one. Right, okay, so that, I just got a little list here of what I wanted to talk about. Oh, my flamingo's all the way down. Okay, so that's what my knitting and my crocheting is all about, people. I think I mentioned it. Somebody asked me once if I knit and if I crochet and what do I do. And yes, that's what I've done. It all sits upstairs in the lounge and I hardly touch it. At the minute, I am still working on my hand quilting my quilt. I did have my friend that I went to school with, Donna. She said, is that for somebody, or are you donating that? And I said, nah. I said, no, hand doing that. It's mine. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to cover today. I hope it was just fun to sit down here with me and see how crazy I am, especially with wool. I'm actually crazy with anything craft, okay? Doesn't mean I know how to do them all. I'm just crazy with anything craft. But today, while I was talking to Jackie asked me if I had watched a new vlogger. She's been on for about 5 months now. She is an Aussie in England. I've been there for a while, I think, by the way of her accent. I have binge watched today her. Her handle is Ripper Seams, R-I-P-P-E-R Seams, S-E-A-M. So if you're watching this and you sew, you know how to spell seams. Now, I'll give a quick brief of what I've watched. I don't know anyone that can go through a whole vlog without saying except for her. Now, her name is Kate. I think I remember that right. You can call her Kate. And she doesn't say the word It does not exit her mouth. I sit there and I'm waiting and no. Talks fast like an Australian, but it's very understandable, of course. Not understandable that she talks fast like an Australian, but it's understandable like you'd understand it. It's not too fast. Well, it's not too fast for me. Funnily enough, I talk fast too. But anyway, absolutely wonderful personality. 5 months and she's already got, I think, 2,500, 3,000. No, she's close to 4,000 subscribers. So if you're one of the ones that watch me and have never heard of her, please pop over and have a look. It's I will stick her title down the bottom. She's also on Instagram. I'll look for that too. Yeah, it's been enjoyable spending the day with her, and I would highly recommend. There's a little bit of a twang in her voice, besides the fact she's English and Australian. She rolls her R's, and I'm just wondering if she's from Adelaide, so I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, I will pop her details in the bottom, like a link to her vlog. See, I have lots of space to fill. I am it. Not as bad as Mr. Christopher, though. Just saying. Yeah. So, enjoyed Kate's company today. I was making and finishing off a lot of the hand sewing, a lot of the last details off my red dress for my client, making the tie that goes around her back. She's very excited with it. She won't mind me taking photos of her and a little bit of video. I actually took them for her mum this last time. I have sent them out to my mum and a couple of other people to have a look at. That was sort of on request rather than throwing her out there just yet. But I am quite excited about seeing it done. I have marked the hem. I sort of sat around her yesterday pinning the hem of where I wanted it to, full skirt. So I don't know what I'm doing with the hem. The hem is supposed to be just double rolled, narrow hem. I am thinking of sewing horsehair in line with the thing, folding it up, and hand blind hemming in the hem for her, just to give it that little bit more puffiness, because it is not that floaty out, and I'm not sure she'll get a hoop or anything like that, which would bring it right out to be the vintage style that it is. But she looks gorgeous in the colour, and it's just, yes, she's just in love with it. Anyway, I have rambled for my sit down Sunday with you guys for like 41 minutes. I don't know anything that was of use to you except for go watch Kate. And we will see you next time. You're going to stay well, stay warm, stay dry, keep cool, keep on sewing, hydrate, and have no regrets. I do regret my little flamingo just fell down the back of my show lounge. So I'm just going to reach back so he can say goodbye to you too. Actually, I just don't like him being on the floor. There he is. So cute. A grown-ass woman. I have no regrets having this. Just going to sit. It's going to watch over me. Aww. Yep, okay, that's enough now, Stacey. Okay. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you next time I'm looking at you.
Subscribe, like, and share, just to let me know that you care.